Hey y'all, what's going on? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 9, the reunion part 3. As you guys have probably already saw, shit didn't really get real until towards the end of this third part, but we're gonna get there. But in the meantime, the men, they join in or whatever. Bob, he has gotten, backlash about the things that he said to Sheree in Hawaii, and, he's looking back on it, and, he's like, I can't believe I said that, and, he's telling her how much he cherishes her, and he's sorry, and, all that good shit or whatever, and, she thinks that it's sincere because of the fact that he watched the playback, and, because of the fact that he's getting the backlash, and, Andy is asking, do you think, do you believe him or whatever? And she feels like, I've already heard some of this shit that he's been saying already. You know what I'm saying? I've heard it all before, pretty much. And, Bob is pretty much scared to talk to his kids about it or whatever. But he do feel that it is on him to be the one to tell them about, the things that he's done to Sheree or whatever, this, that, and the third. And, Andy is pretty much asking him, how do you, approach Cairo with this, because, he's your son, being an older male, pretty much he looks up to you, whatever, how you want to, approach this with him. And he feels like that a man has to take pride into the woman that he's with, and a whole bunch of other shit that he was saying. Peter, he gives his opinion, and I'm gonna tell y'all, Peter was being a fucking dickhead the whole time that the men were on, okay? He was being a fucking dickhead. So, Peter, he was like, I pretty much was shocked by the footage. And, if he wasn't my friend, I would want to punch him in his motherfucking face over and over and over again for saying that shit to Sheree. I said, fuck friend or not, if I'm a male or whatever and I see, my homeboy doing some fuck shit like that, we would be squaring the fuck up right then and there. As soon as I saw the footage, I would have been calling Bob's ass up like, look, motherfucker, we about to shoot the fade one good time, because I don't really like that shit you said to Sheree, and we want, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been ready to square the fuck up right then and there as soon as I saw the episode. So anyways, Candy, pretty much, she was shocked too, because she's known Bob for a long time, and she hopes that, she says that sometimes you kind of have to look at yourself to realize, damn, I fucked up or whatever. So she hopes that he takes that to try to, do better or whatever, and Sheree, she's pretty much open to a friendship with him, but as far as the relationship shit, that shit is pretty much dead as of right now. So we get on Cynthia and Peter's case. Peter is like, he pretty much talks to Noelle more than he talks to Cynthia. And, he feels like it was weird in a way going on that trip, because he felt like it should have been like an anniversary type of thing for them, but it wasn't. The cast, they were pretty much trying to scheme to see if, Peter and Cynthia had, fucked for one last time or whatever. Peter, he's like, if I can't have all of her, I don't want none of her. You know what I'm saying? And, Candy and Todd, pretty much, they wanted to see Peter and Cynthia win. That's why it affected them so much. And not only that, they got married on the show, and as well as Candy and Todd got married on the show. So, it was pretty close to their hearts, and they really wanted them to work out or whatever. Andy is asking, what was the deal breaker for you for, this marriage or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And Cynthia's like, it's never just one reason or whatever. And she kind of starts tearing up. She was like, I'm going to be honest, I just kind of started to feel resentful towards him. Like, even when we were trying to get on the right track, I still was feeling resentful towards him. I don't do well in stressful situations, and it was just a lot of stress. And after we would get over one hurdle, it would be another hurdle to get over. And Peter is like, Cynthia has been in the modeling world for 20 plus years. She never depended on nobody or whatever, and then she came along and met me, and he's like, I'm good at dealing with shit. She's not. or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then he brings up, you know, the rumors that Portia had threw out there, you know, with him fucking around with young girls and fucking around with people who work for him, this, that, and the third, on previous reunions and shit like that. And I mean, obviously, of course, that's not the reason why their marriage, you know, ended or is coming to an end, because like I told y'all last week, them motherfuckers is not even divorced. See, we getting on Phaedra and Apollo or whatever, or we getting on Phaedra's case, but motherfuckers Cynthia and Peter are not officially divorced either. So all these reactions that they going through is just like some good ass acting right about now, because they're not officially divorced either. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I will say that Portia sprawling that shit out there, you know, it definitely was not the reason. It definitely was not the reason at all, but it did kind of put a damper on things, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so pretty much they're both dating. They're both dating at this point. He's like, you know, he went a year without having sex with Cynthia. So now, you know, it's on and popping. You know, he with the shit. You know what I'm saying? He gonna fuck everything that's in motherfucking sight. He has somebody that he really likes a lot or whatever. And I could tell Cynthia was kind of uncomfortable a little bit. Like, she was trying to play cool or whatever. But she kind of was, like, uncomfortable with him saying this shit. You know, the way I saw it. But he wants Cynthia to, you know, be happy. And, you know, he always love her, this, that, and the third. I could tell y'all right now, I feel like this is going to be a long review. So, you know, just hang in there with me, y'all. So, we get on Candy's case a little bit. You know, Andy is asking her, how is, you know, Block with Riley these days? She's saying that Block has still been consistent or whatever, still trying to make that effort to really be in her life at this point. And, you know, Andy is asking Todd for his opinion. And Todd is like, you know, because we all know that Todd had a late start with Kayla or whatever. But I still feel like Todd's situation and Block's situation is different, because Todd didn't know. He didn't know about Kayla until she was a teenager, versus with Block, he knew from motherfucking day one about Riley. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, Todd, he's like, you know, I thought it was some bullshit at first, you know, when Block was trying to come back around, this, that, and the third. But now I'm seeing him put in the effort. You know, I respect it or whatever, so I'm cool with it. Then we get on Portia and her love life with her Todd, you know, Ditzy Todd, as I call him. And, you know, Andy, he's asking, you know, what's the status between, you know, you and Todd? Peter, his drunk ass, because I know he was drunk or tipsy or something. He interrupts or whatever, and, you know, he's asking, you know, he's like, excuse me, you know, why is Todd not here? And, you know, Portia's like, I mean, he's been texting me all day. He's been very supportive, but we are on pause right now. But we do have some good news. He has a job in D.C. And, you know, they start talking about the whole baby nup or whatever, and how pretty much that was some bullshit. And Peter, he's in the background, you know, jabbing his jaws or whatever, talking about some, you know, who does that or whatever, as Portia is trying to give her explanation as to why she came up with the baby nup. And, you know, Portia was like, I saw signs where, you know, I just didn't want to, you know, jump in and move in with him, so that's why I came up with the baby nup. Excuse me. So, you know, Phaedra, you know, because Andy had asked Phaedra, you know, like, why she was so against it and everything. And Phaedra just, you know, wanted Portia to have the whole package or whatever. Then pretty much that's why she was against it. And Peter is asking Phaedra, you know, like, you know, did you have the whole package and everything? And, you know, Phaedra, she's like, I mean, no, but it started off that way. I started off having the whole package. I'm telling you, Peter was being a fucking dickhead this part. So, you know, he's like, you know, so you divorced now, right? Or whatever. And she's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, everything ain't all perfect, sweetheart. And this, that, and the third. And, you know, one of the, like, viewers or whatever pretty much was thinking that Portia was fronting about, you know, that time or whatever where Portia had, you know, when she had moved back in with her mom, and she was perpetrating like as if that was the first time her and Todd, you know, had sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And Portia, she was like, no, like for real, like that really was the first time me and Todd had sex was at my mom's crib or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Andy, he's like, you know, I'm glad that you didn't run him away with the whole, you know, just wanting his, pretty much I guess just wanting his sperm to have a kid or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Peter, he's whispering to Cynthia and Kenya and them, I'm about to walk off the motherfucking set. Like, fuck what you heard. And so next thing you know, he walks off and everything, and Peter is confused as to why, you know, they walked off or whatever, and he's asking for like a drink. He's like, where the drink at, this, that, and the third. He feels like Portia and Phaedra are full of shit, and I mean, I agree, but you know, Peter, you was doing too much, you know what I'm saying, and maybe you do need to go home, sleep that shit off. I mean, I don't know, you was kind of doing a little bit too much. And he was saying how he wished that Cynthia was stronger because they could have been like the next Bonnie and Clyde or some shit. You feel what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So we get on Sheree of being the bone carrier this season or whatever. But like I told y'all before, since Sheree has been on the, you know, from season 1, Sheree has always been the bone carrier. So people shouldn't really be surprised by her messiness. So, Shamia, she comes in or whatever and sits on the couch or whatever with, you know, the ladies. You know, she feels like that she has been in the middle between, you know, Portia and Candy's bullshit or whatever. Portia admits that she hasn't spoken to Shamia ever since the lunch between herself, Phaedra, and Sheree aired on TV. They haven't spoken since. So, you know, somebody asks, you know, why do the ladies even bother talking to Sheree about shit? Because she's fucking messy. She goes back telling shit or whatever. And Kenya, she, you know, owns up. She's like, you know, honestly, she keeps everyone honest in the group. You know what I'm saying? She has people own up to their shit or whatever. You know, Sheree, she's like, listen, I like everybody in this group or whatever. And I feel fake as fuck sitting up here in this motherfucker's face, knowing this other motherfucker that said some shit about them, knowing that it's going to be aired on TV. And once again, I understand where Sheree coming from, but girl, you do come off messy as fuck. You feel what I'm saying? And then on top of that, while you saying all that shit, you failed to tell Candy about the shit that Phaedra said with the whole. You told everything else this motherfucking season but that motherfucking shit. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like that's fucked up. I mean, damn. If you want to sit up here and be the motherfucking bone carrier, this, that, and the third, I mean, that's one of the motherfucking highlights you should have motherfucking told. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, so you know, so they asked, you know, somebody had asked Portia, you know, like, why did, you know, why did she take Sheree saying that, you know, that she used to date Block as Candy trying to say that they had sex? And, you know, Sheree claims that, you know, I didn't say that they had sex or whatever, this, that, and the third. She was like that, you know, Kenya was like, you know, how does, you know, when they was at that whole, you know, tasting for Candy or whatever, you know, she brings up how Kenya was the one who said, you know, how does it feel that you guys slept with the same guy or whatever? And Portia was like, you know, and Portia was the one who said, you know, who got on the defense and was saying, you know, I didn't sleep with him or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Portia is like, you know, I think she said Sheree called her or she called Sheree or something like that. And, you know, she didn't like what Sheree said in her confessional of her being in and out of folks' beds and shit like that. And Sheree was like, I mean, girl, it was a shady joke or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you always call yourself the queen of Thotland. And Portia is like, you know, I say that as a joke or whatever. And I'm like, well, bitch, you're motherfucking lying because you are the queen of Thotland. But, I mean, it is what it is, you know. Like, she was like, you know, I say that as a joke. And I'm like, well, I say that you're lying. Like, survey says you're lying, okay? So, you know, she's saying how she would never, like, on some real G shit, refer to herself as a hoe or whatever. And you know, Candy is like, I mean, girl, I feel like you tried to check me on that whole situation, this, that, and the third. So that's why I put it out there. Like, well, bitch, y'all. That's why when me and you personally had a conversation while Sheree was there to listen, I put it out there, bitch. I mean, y'all did fuck. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that a big deal? You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, somebody, you know, one of the viewers, they asked, you know, why doesn't Portia have Shamea back like she do Phaedra when she known Shamea for a very long time? And Portia is trying to justify saying that the situation was uncomfortable. And Andy is like, well, you don't seem that close to her now. And Portia is like, you know, I do care for her or whatever. And, you know, she was like, you know, she was like, I came to her to apologize, you know, or to apologize to her on what she saw or how she felt or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Kenya, she chimed in and she was like, you know, I mean, it's not about how she felt. It's about what the fuck you did. Or lack of what the fuck you did. You feel what I'm saying? In my opinion. Because, you know, Kenya was saying, you know, it's not about what she felt. It's about what you did. I mean, I feel like it's lack of what the fuck you did. You feel what I'm saying? To come to her defense. But, you know, Portia, she's like, what? Like, what did she say or whatever? And Kenya, she repeats herself. And she's like, you know, you failed to defend Shamea, but you sit up here defending Phaedra all motherfucking day long. You know what I'm saying? And somebody had made a good point. I remember seeing somebody saying that, you know, the same way that people said that Cynthia was up Nene's ass is the same way that Portia is up Phaedra's ass. I'm just saying. So, anyways, you know, Portia is telling Kenya to shut the fuck up or whatever. And, you know, Kenya's like, oh, your anger management is really working, da 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 da. And Portia is like, you know, well, it ain't working right now. They're going back and forth, you know, tit for tat or whatever. You know, Andy, Andy is like, I mean, Kenya, girl, you did interrupt or whatever. You know, she was trying to give the apology to Shamea and everything. And Kenya is like, I mean, ain't nobody gonna tell me to shut the fuck up or whatever. And she's calling her Elvis because she's talking about, you know, her hair, you know, the short haircut she had and the outfit that she had on or whatever. And Portia, she's like, bad wig or whatever, the same bitch that claims she don't wear wigs. And I'm just like, didn't Mimi say the same thing or already make a, you know, phrase out of that shit? Bad wig. You know, when she was talking to Kim, I said, girl, you recycling old reads and shit like that. Like, come up with some new shit, okay? So anyways, you know, Candy, she's like, she interrupts, she's like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get where you coming from, you know, about Portia not defending you. She's talking to Shamea. She's like, you know, I get where you coming from on, you know, Portia not defending you or whatever, but it was a part added on. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, they go into the part where it was said that, you know, Candy and Todd were real close to Shamea. You know, where Portia implied that Candy and Todd were real close to Shamea after Phaedra did the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, she added on. And Portia, she trying to play motherfucking dumb. Talking about something, I mean, because y'all are close. You know, because y'all are close. No, motherfucker. You know what the fuck she meant with that shit. And you know what the fuck you meant when you said that shit. You was piggybacking off what the fuck Phaedra had said when she said, you know, Candy and Shamea. And you piggybacked and said, yeah, you know, I mean, they real close or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here, Portia, with that dumb shit. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, Candy saying the same thing. I'm saying, like, nah, bitch. You know damn well you was trying to say that we fucked. And, you know, Shamea, she agrees, like, yeah, bitch, you helped imply that situation. So, anyways, we switch gears a little bit. We get on frickin' Frack's, you know, relationship or whatever. People are questioning their friendship, like myself and a lot of other, you know, people have questioned their friendship. Because, like I told y'all before, I felt like when Phaedra and Candy were friends, that friendship was genuine. When it comes to Portia and Phaedra, it seems like it's a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of camel toes and a whole, you know, just a whole bunch of shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? It don't feel genuine. And they asked Phaedra, do she feel like Portia is really dumb? And she's like, I don't feel like Portia is dumb or whatever. And Candy's like, bitch, we caught you on tape. And Phaedra is like, I mean, I said she had a little head with a small brain. They like, well, you were implying that she was dumb. And Portia is like, yeah, and when I saw that episode or whatever, I tweeted a picture of Phaedra and called her Baby Bop or whatever, but it was all good afterwards, pretty much. Candy feels like that it's more of an alliance between them versus a friendship. Cynthia feels like they're always backing each other up instead of just being honest with each other. You feel what I'm saying? And Shamia, she feels like a true friend wouldn't take the fall for something that another friend said. I ain't gonna lie, I thought the bullshit was gonna come out right then and there, but it didn't all the way. So, Shamia, she had, called Phaedra, like, Auntie Faye or something like that. And, freaking Frat claimed that they talked to each other every day. And Shamia was like, oh, that must be different because y'all wasn't talking, every day, back in the day or whatever. And Phaedra, she feels like that folk is jealous of her and Portia's friendship. Candy is like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about y'all, whatever. And Phaedra was like, well, why do y'all care then, whatever, this, that, and the third. And Shamia is like, she's telling Portia, girl, don't leave your driver license and social security and whatever else around her because she's into fraudulent activities or whatever. I was like, well, look, I'm with everybody else, and I done told y'all this. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I feel like Phaedra, if she wasn't involved in Apollo's bullshit, she fucking knew. She fucking knew. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how nobody feels. Whatever. She had to at least know what the fuck he was doing. So anyways, Portia, she claims, one of the viewers was saying that Portia claims to be such a loyal friend, but why didn't she chime in when Phaedra was bad-mouthing Shamia or whatever? And Phaedra was like, I mean, when I had did the whole, I wasn't going at Candy. I really, she was just collateral damage. I was really pissed off at what the fuck Shamia was saying. And Shamia was like, so you throw Candy and Todd under the motherfucking bus to get back at me? Like, are you fucking serious? You know what I'm saying? And Phaedra was like that Portia wasn't chiming in. Phaedra, you're full of motherfucking shit. You know damn well Portia was chiming in because she piggybacked off what the fuck you were saying. When you had did the whole, she piggybacked off what the fuck you said and said, yeah, Shamia and Candy are real close or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Shamia and Kenya, they said the same thing that myself and probably a whole bunch of other people was saying. Like, bitch, yes, the fuck she was. Like, get the fuck out of here. And Sheree, she was like, I mean, girl, you did say they was close. And Candy is like, exactly. Portia is like, why are you so caught up on me or whatever when Phaedra was the one who said y'all was actually fucking. And Candy was like, I mean, I don't fuck with both of y'all now or whatever because of this shit or whatever. This, that, and the third. She's like, y'all both said shit or whatever, which is why I don't fuck with y'all now. And Phaedra, she was like, me and Phaedra was close. Me and you, Phaedra, was close at one point in time. Does that mean we were fucking? And Phaedra is like, no. And Candy is like, okay then. So like, get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit or whatever. Like, why would you make that hand gesture or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And Phaedra, she quiet as a motherfucking mouse. Ain't saying a goddamn thing. It's like, yeah, because bitch, you were fucking wrong for that shit. So, Portia, she talks about, how Candy was selling Phaedra's business or whatever, and how Shamia had put her 2 cents in it or whatever, and how she pulled Shamia to the side or whatever and said, I don't think you should do that or whatever. And Shamia's like, bitch, I only brought that shit up because you were going so hard for motherfucking Phaedra. Portia, she admits that she was wrong or whatever for indulging in what the fuck Phaedra was talking about or whatever. And Shamia and Phaedra, they start getting into it or whatever. Like, just doing the most or whatever, going back and forth about African princes and, Phaedra claiming to be a Southern Belle one day and then being a hooker another day. Portia, she starts to get so-called emotional because, her and Shamia's friendship is torn at this point, along with the series of other stuff. And Candy felt like Shamia was never taking sides when it came to Portia and her, but when it came to her and Phaedra, she felt like Portia was taking sides. And Portia was like, well, Candy, you told Phaedra's business this, that, and the third, so that's why I was going hard. And it's like Portia, like, and I done told y'all this many a times before. It was a little bit of tension between Candy and Portia before this motherfucking season. Portia was been taking Phaedra's motherfucking side a couple of seasons ago when Nene was still on this bitch. And Phaedra was going to Portia and Nene about, the situations that Candy and herself was going through. And acting like shit was cool between her and Candy. But then when, she talked to, Portia and Nene, it'd be a whole different tune. So, bitch, you been was taking motherfucking sides, but shit didn't really hit the motherfucking fan until this season. And it's like, if you're gonna be friends with two people, stay motherfucking neutral. You feel what I'm saying? So, anyways, she felt like, I guess, Shamia didn't have a concern in the world when, she told her that she had issues with this group. She was more concerned about as to why Portia didn't come to her like engagement party or whatever. And Shamia like, bitch, I did ask you, how the fuck you felt or whatever, but you just was like, oh, we'll talk about it later, this, that, and the third or whatever. And yeah, that was that. So then we finally get on to the whole Lady Pond rumors or whatever. They bring Todd back in. And I'm gonna let y'all know right now. This whole argument, it was just all over the place. So if I'm not as accurate with everything, I do apologize. But I tried to get the gist of it. Get as much as I could. So anyways, somebody had asked, how does Candy feel knowing that Phaedra was in on the fuckery too of saying shit about her? You know what I'm saying? And just going so hard at Portia. And Candy is like, that's not the only thing I was mad about with Portia. She was pretty much trying to attack my marriage when she had experiences and hookups with, females or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Candy was like, I've already admitted on this show more than once that I've had hookup with females. And they played flashbacks of Candy owning up to that shit or whatever. So, Portia, she claims that she didn't spread lies or whatever, and that she didn't call Candy a lesbian. But it's like, bitch, yeah, you didn't say that shit, but you did imply it with the whole trapped in the closet accusations, okay? So, Portia, she's like, she just keeps on saying that, yeah, you and Shamia are close or whatever. And Candy is like, why are you trying to, like, downplay what the fuck you said or whatever? And Portia is like, me, talking about you being trapped in the closet with shade. Cynthia, she chimes in and she like, okay, well, when Sheree has said what she said about you hopping in and out of beds, that was shade or whatever, or in this, that, and the third. And Portia was like, yeah, and I didn't appreciate it either. And Candy's like, well, don't sit up here and throw stones on something that you do as well. And so, they get into Phaedra. Andy, he gets into Phaedra. And Phaedra is like, I never called Candy a lesbian and everything. And Andy is like, girl, you said that her and Shamia slept together for years. And Phaedra was like, only thing I said was, this, that, and the third. And Andy, he's asking Candy, like, did y'all do that? And, Candy is like, no, we never did no shit like that. She's like, y'all said that we seem to be real close or whatever. And, Andy, he's like, well, frickin' frack, y'all close or whatever. Did y'all do something? Which I wouldn't be surprised if frickin' frack have done some shit. I do believe they done some shit together. You can't tell me no otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Candy is like she never heard of that rumor about her and Shamia or whatever. And you know, Portia, she even admits that she never heard that rumor either. And Todd, he's like, nobody ever confronts Candy to her motherfucking face. And Portia is like, well, I did or whatever. And Todd is like, yeah, and what you said was some motherfucking bullshit. And you know, Phaedra is like, I mean, y'all always talking about word on the street or whatever, but then when somebody say something about y'all, it's a problem, this, that, and third. And Todd is like, I mean, we know it's all lies or whatever. We know the fans still motherfucking watching, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And somebody has said something to Andy about how, you know, on this show this season, it's like a thin line between humor and homophobia between these group of girls. And Portia, she claims that she's not homophobic. And they bring up, you know, the footage of Portia, you know, condemning, you know, gay people or whatever. And, you know, Phaedra is like, well, it was 10 years ago and people can evolve. I can agree with that. Some people, they can evolve and realize that the opinions they might have had 10 or 20 years ago was not as accurate and they were probably ignorant and shit like that. But I mean, still, when, you know, you and Portia just really, y'all really exhaust me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a viewer had asked, they had asked pretty much, you know, was Candy's story more credible, considering the fact that Candy was sober in the situation with her and Portia at the club. So, you know, Portia was like, I mean, it meant a lot to her that she remembered it or whatever, this, that, and third. And Candy is like, bitch, you remembered it too. And she's like, you're a motherfucking hypocrite or whatever. And Portia claims how she was drunk and she claims that she, you know, wouldn't do this, that, and third with Candy. And Todd is, you know, how she wouldn't kiss Candy. And Todd was like, I mean, bitch, it was more than one kiss and it was a proposition that was made. And, you know, Portia is like, you know, and they was like that Portia wanted them to come back to her to her hotel room, but you know they didn't want to. They didn't feel like it was a good look or whatever. And Portia was like, "Well, I mean, it was a kiss, but it wasn't a hookup. I don't consider that a hookup or whatever." But bitch, you just admitted that you kissed her, right? Oh, all right. So they're going back and forth or whatever. Portia says it was 3 years ago and, you know, she never said that she would go down on Candy. It was just a kiss. And Andy is like, well, why do you think that they would try to drug you? And Portia was like, you know, I was just told this information last year. And I'm in the world of journalism. And everybody is laughing at her like, bitch, please. Oh, all of a sudden you in the world of journalism because you're on Dish Nation or whatever. And, you know, she's like, oh, y'all trying to downplay my position or whatever. And she was like, you know, I don't want to be known as a liar. And pretty much she was served some papers by Candy to where she can't talk about the situation no more. But Phaedra could speak on it because Phaedra was the one who told her. Which I had already read in the blogs that Phaedra had told her these rumors about Candy and Todd trying to drug her. And Candy, she's pissed off. She's saying to Phaedra, like, bitch, you said that shit about me? You know, and that's where the shit leaves off or whatever. I apologize for this review being long. I just wanted to, you know, be as accurate as I can and, you know, really try to break it down as much as I can for y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.